If you made money this year, you're going to want to watch this video in order to have a successful new year, 2025. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the channel. I know I don't post crazy often like I used to, but I do want to make this video to purely just help you guys out and give you guys as much resources as possible to really prepare for next year. And the reality is there's two people, or actually technically three people in the business world. There's the person who talks about everything, acts as if they're going to achieve something, and really do nothing with their lives and still work, as an employee, maybe even low income, really never moving the needle. That's one person. The second person is the guy who complains, has every opportunity in front of them, and really never does anything about it. And then finally, the third person is the person who succeeds. They find a way to succeed. So this video is for the people who want to find a way to succeed. And if you've made a little bit of money, I think this is going to help you even more. But if you haven't made any money, you want to make money, don't worry, you're still on that process. Right? It's not like you've failed. It's not like you've quit. You're still on the path. You're still on the process. Everybody's path takes a little bit longer, trust me. And I think this is going to be my last year before I enter my 10th year of really just business in general. And that's actually pretty special, pretty cool. I've worked very hard. I've put myself in a very strong position financially, but I want to help you guys out and want you to learn and be able to do the same things. And to be honest, guys, it's better on this side. The 3 years that I've struggled financially in my life, after, basically essentially from the ages of 17 to 20, I could say were the hardest years of my life. And then ever since then, it's kind of been smooth sailing for the next 3 or 4 years. And then after that, it's been super, super high amounts of prosperity after that. If you guys want to get to that level, there's no mysteries. It takes a lot of work, but videos like this can help you along the way. So I'm going to try my best to help you guys out. The first thing is if you've made money this year, you have to understand, especially if you're living in America, you have America, Canada, a lot of the systems work the same way. A little bit different overseas, but if you live in America, at the very least, you need to have what's called an LLC. Now, you guys know this. I'm not going to do too much promo, but what an LLC will do for you, and it depends how much money you've made, because you might have to get an S Corp instead of an LLC. However, things come into play, and I'll kind of explain. First thing you need is figure out how much money you've made. If you've made more than about, let's say, $65,000 in profit, that's kind of my number. Some accountants will tell you $45,000, some say $50,000. I really say about $65K in profit. And I say profit. I'm not talking about revenue. Revenue is meaningless. If you make $15 million in revenue, but you have $2,000 profit, it doesn't really matter. But if you have anything over 65K, you really should go the S Corp route. But if you have anything less than 65K, you should go the LLC route. And what the LLC is for legal protection. I've spoken about this before, but the more money you make into the future, the more legal protection you're going to need to have. Now, many of you guys know this. I have multiple LLCs, many LLCs for different businesses. Kind of like, for example, I'll just give you an example. In real estate, what you would do if you had multiple houses in your real estate portfolio is that each house would essentially have its own LLC. The reason why is for legal financial protection. Now, what you have to do is you make sure you don't mingle funds, you don't mix funds, meaning, if you're going to go out for dinner, you don't use the money in that bank account or a credit card for a business bank account. You don't use anything business related to go out to eat dinner if it has nothing to do with business, right? So no commingling of funds. You have this LLC. Money, right, goes into the LLC bank account. Expenses for that LLC come out of that bank account and go into a credit card. So for accounting purposes, right, you need to have a credit card that you subject purely to that business, right, or the business expenses. And all those expenses are tax deductible. There's a section called Section 179 in the tax code that where you can deduct. I think last year was up to like 1.2 million or 2 million. I can't exactly remember the exact number, but you can deduct your expenses for the business. And they have certain rules like on vehicles and things like that. But anything that's business related, you can deduct. So if you're a make money online type of guy and you buy 5 new computers, guess what? You can deduct those computers. If each computer costs $2,500, you use about 5 computers, that's a nice healthy deduction. And the more that you buy these business expenses, the lower the deduction. Now, I'll leave a link in the description to where you can form an LLC or an S corp at the cheapest prices. Okay, and they don't actually charge fees for the links that I'll show you. It's literally just you have to pay your state fee and things like that. So I'll leave the ones that I use in the link in the description, but you're going to need to have an LLC. This is really, if you've made any kind of money, you need to have an LLC. Now, who do deductions actually work for? They work for people who've already made money. If you haven't made money, then there's nothing you can deduct, right? You're not deducting anything. But now that we kind of got that out of the way, you guys know that I have been talking about different forms of income. So I've talked about like Adobe Stock and all stock photography. And don't get me wrong, there's much more than Adobe Stock, but Adobe Stock is kind of like the poster boy. You know, it's what everybody talks about in the stock photography world, but there's many other sites that are extremely profitable as well. Okay, so stock photography, essentially. We have print on demand. Now, there's two different worlds with print on demand. There's the marketplace, and then there's your own custom website. So if you were to do print on demand, you can take a hoodie, for example, use Printify, use whatever. I personally don't use Printify, I use other sources, but let's just say use Printify, you put it on Etsy, for example, and you make a sale. Well, that's a marketplace-based. Even Redbubble, TeePublic, I would still rope those into a marketplace-based print on demand. And then you have your own website, okay? If you still haven't hopped on learning how to create your own website, learning how to do all those kind of things, learning how to run your own ads, those are crucial things you have to learn how to do. And those are things that will help you gain more financial freedom if that's your goal. You know, some people just want to make a little bit of money here and there. Some people want to actually go all the way financial freedom route. And this is harder. Don't get me wrong. Creating your own website is harder, but it's much more profitable down the road. And to put things into consideration, if I sell a hoodie on TeePublic, I could make $4 or $2. I don't know. I don't even know what the exact number is because I haven't checked in a while, but with TeePublic, let's say I sell a t-shirt, make $2, a hoodie, $4, whatever, right? That's a small fraction of what I really could make on my own website, you know? Even Redbubble, like Redbubble, I know the numbers differ. Redbubble, TeePublic, Society6, Zazzle, Etsy, all these kind of platforms are great, but you don't have control. And I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. At the end of the day, you're just a number on a screen. You could be erased at any moment. Even if you have a Merch by Amazon account, same thing. You're a number on a screen. And let's not play ourselves. We all make mistakes. There are reasons why we could be banned all the time. Nobody's perfect all the time. And things happen, right? So these are different forms of passive income. I guess you can call them passive income if you walk away from them. For me right now, pretty much all my print-on-demand work is almost fully passive. You know, this month I haven't done any print-on-demand work, and I'm actually going to use some of the money that I've earned this month that's passive to buy a first-class flight overseas in the new year. So, you know, these are examples of how these kind of things can benefit you and help you over time. But in general, you know, stock photography, print on demand, it's an easy link between the two because they both use AI image generation tools. Easy way to make money, right? So those are different examples. But here we have I guess you can call this a quadrant system. This is what you really want to kind of get into, is most people start off like this. They're employees, right? So I'll put the EMP here. They're employees, right? And then they go to self-employed. And I'm not talking about most people in the world, but I'm saying most people who end up going this route and fulfilling their route, this is kind of how they do it. They go to self-employed. Then they're running a business. And the business might be a small business, right? The business might be a small business. It might be a few employees here and there. And then finally they become investor. This is essentially in a perfect world what happens. Now, granted, some people start being a self-employed individual, then they start having some employees, then they become investors. But, you know, either way, this is ideally the route that you want to take. So in the beginning, you're probably not going to just make money out of thin air. You're not going to be self-employed in the beginning for most people, right? Like, for example, when I was 15, 16, 17, and a little bit of 18, I worked in a restaurant. I also worked at JCPenney when I was a little bit older. You know, at 16, 17, 18, I worked at JCPenney. So those are places where I'm essentially an employee. By the time I turned 18, I was kind of focusing a little bit more on the business. Also had the restaurant job, so I dropped the JCPenney job. So I was somewhere in between. Then when I was finally making money on the business, there was no reason for me to work as an employee anymore. This was all while I was in college, and then I became fully self-employed. A few years into, I would say a year and a half into the game of being really successful, then I had to get employees. There's no way I could fulfill orders and do all the work alone. So essentially, I became a business. I was paying salaries, I was helping people out, etc. Then what happened was, after running businesses for long enough, then I say, okay, I don't want to have to work as much, and then you become the investor. Now, once again, this is ideal. Ideally, you would want to become an investor at the end of the days, because you don't want to have to work all the time. You don't want to have to break your back working. Now, I know some of you guys might enjoy it, but if you've worked, let's say, 20 hours a day, every day for 3 years straight, it's pretty hectic. I mean, low sleep, low energy, and that's what I had to do from ages, like I said, 17 to 20. It was the hardest years. So, these kind of times are much more enjoyable, but you want to get to the point where you're making money from your businesses, no matter what the businesses are, whether they're Etsy, print on demand, merch by Amazon, FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, even Kindle. It doesn't matter what it is, KDP. Whatever you're doing to make the money, you kind of want to take this route. Now, the whole time, obviously, depending on your jurisdiction, depending on where you live, you want to take advantage, like I said, of certain kind of tax credits. So you have that self-employed extra added tax, right? So if you have that LLC, then you can use deductions. There's a 15% added tax if you're self-employed. Remember, keep that in mind. Different things that you could do. So essentially, you want to go down this route. Now, keep in mind that, you don't always have to be an investor. It's not like you can, run a business a little bit here and there and make some money here and there. But in general, this is kind of what the picture perfect, I guess you could say, story is, right? From employee to self-employed to business owner, and then finally investor, not having to worry about running the businesses or anything like that. Investors kind of range in different ways. You could invest in real estate, you could invest in stocks, you can invest in God knows what. I mean, you could invest in other businesses. Shout out to the Shark Tank, but you could do really anything you want to in this kind of landscape. But most people kind of get stuck here, So the people who are watching my YouTube channel, hopefully they're kind of like somewhere in this stage, in these two stages, or transferring into this stage, hopefully, because let's be honest, this is where the freedom comes in, right? Being self-employed is really where you get a taste of freedom. You don't have to work for anybody. You get to enjoy your life a little bit more. And honestly, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of like people kind of, maybe not a lot, I'm exaggerating, but I've seen some YouTube videos of people kind of talking about being self-employed. And they're talking about their journey. If you want me to react to certain videos, I know you guys enjoyed that in the past. I'll be happy to talk about them as somebody who's been through literally the whole gamut, the whole system. I've been through it. So I could talk about that kind of stuff, but I do intend to kind of make more content in the future, kind of generalized content, not necessarily just about print on demand or Adobe Stock or whatever. But, if you guys need help with that kind of stuff, check out our website. I do plan, by the way, to put out updates soon for, let me actually pull them up here so we can see here together. Autopilotpassiveincome.com. We also got superstockai.com. You guys know this is kind of relatively new, the Superstock AI course. When I say relatively new, I'm comparing it to autopilotpassiveincome.com. And of course, you guys know that we have the email. You guys can sign up there. If you go to poddegree.com, or you could just click the link in the description. I'll leave it in the description. Did I even copy and paste that? No, I didn't. Let me see here. Let me copy this here and paste this. There we go. Continue to the site. Don't worry, it's got security on it, all that kind of stuff. It's just a link shortcut. But this link here, you guys can check some of the lessons that I posted. I'm probably going to remove the paid lessons, to be honest with you, and probably create new ones in the future, just for the new year, something a little bit more updated, a little bit better. But join the free part. Of course, by the way, if you paid for the lessons previously, you'll get access to the free ones or the updated ones in the future. But if you join the members, you guys can get emails from me. I haven't really sent out an email in a few months, but I will plan to send more in the new year. Like I said, we only have 45 days till the new year. I mean, today's November 14th. You take out Christmas, you take out New Year's. Thanksgiving. I mean, maybe even less than 45 days if we really do the math. But the holidays are coming, the New Year's coming, so you want to prepare now. The only reason that I could choose to not make videos now or choose to not work now if I don't want to is two reasons. Really, first is because I put in the hard work in the past. I put in extremely hard work in the past. You guys have seen me. I documented the story, the journey, when I was doing 60 designs a day every day on Redbubble. You remember that? I don't know. Some of you do, some of you don't. But I showed my sales. I showed all kinds of different things. I showed, I was kind of talking about, and I did it for a year, by the way. I did it for a year, and I started before the whole new year began. And I think I started 2 months prior to, or 2 months and a half prior to the new year. So I was working. I was working really hard. And before that, I was already making money on Redbubble, more than the average. I was doing all kinds of stuff. So, the only reason, like I said, I could be in the position where I'm in now is because I've had this history of working hard on different things. Now, let me be clear. My world doesn't just revolve around Redbubble. You guys may know, I don't know if all of you know this, but I have websites that allow me to make money. That's my main thing. And these websites are different blog websites. So it's written articles. And when people search something on Google, like, for example, how to get my mental health together, that's one of the articles we rank for on Google for one of my websites. People read the article, they click different links, affiliate links, they might buy certain things. We make money from the ads on those websites. We make money from the products on those websites. And I have a collection of over 60 websites just like that. So every day I'm creating sort of like an income from these websites that I worked on in the past. And they definitely don't need a lot of hard work or maintenance that's relatively consistent. But the point is that I put in the work. I put in the work so I can enjoy the results now and not necessarily have to work as hard. Now, don't get me wrong. The New Year's coming. I'll probably work a little bit then. But things are transitioning. Things are changing. Those past videos where I would talk to people about working hard, pushing as hard as you can, part of the reason why I was saying those things is because that's what I was doing. So anyways, back to what I was saying to get on track. For the courses, we'll probably do some updates, at least updates to the landing pages. These kind of feel pretty old, to me at least. Updates to the landing pages for sure, maybe even some content inside. Even though the courses are phenomenal and they do cover like most of the, I'm not even going to say most. I'm pretty sure everything that's needed to be known. But then again, we'll take a look at it. We'll probably do some updates from Redbubble courses to all that kind of stuff. But I'll leave the links in the description if you guys want to get access to any of these courses before the updates kind of happen. I'll leave links description to the Superstock AI course, which is once again kind of new. I'm probably going to add some more content to this course around just AI automation because we have been doing a lot of automating. And really, automation has covered 99% of the work for this business. It literally takes, and I don't want to exaggerate, but it takes maybe 4% of the effort that it used to. I said 4. That's the number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4%. Not 40, not 15, not 14, 4%. Remember, I used to do everything manually. Now everything's automated, so it's almost no work now. But hopefully this update helps you guys out. Hopefully I can create a new video soon. I don't know how often I can create these videos or when I'm going to, but I wish you guys the best. Now you guys kind of have an update of what's going on, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right? Peace out. Bye.